Hello, and welcome to our gentle yoga flow. Today's practice is intended to help us slow down and to feel a little bit more grounded than when we first began. So when you're ready, we'll meet on our mats, and we'll start our practice in balasana or child's pose. We'll find ourselves in a kneeling position to start off with. We have the option to keep the legs together or to place the toes together and walk the knees out wide and begin extending the arms, reaching the chest down towards the ground. Finding ourselves in balasana, we'll take a few deep breaths here. Allowing ourselves to settle into our mats, separating ourselves from our day or from anything that we have planned later in the day or throughout the week. Simply just arriving here in this space and in this moment. We'll begin to take a few deep breaths, beginning to notice where the breath lands today. Maybe it lands higher up into the chest or it travels deep into the belly. Asking ourselves if our breath feels very fast or slow today. Knowing that no option is wrong, just noticing. And we'll begin to draw the breath in through the nose, allowing it to travel deep into the belly, and then holding the breath there for just a moment, finding a pause. When you're ready, we'll sigh it from the mouth, and then we'll find another inhale through the nose, finding our pause at the top, and letting it go. One more time together, we'll draw the breath in, holding, and letting it go. If we're not already, we'll begin to reach the palms back behind us, and we'll clasp our palms near the lower back, having the option to extend the fist towards the ceiling, or keeping them lowered near the back if that feels better. Wherever we are, either extended or lowered through the palms, we'll invite in a few deep breaths here. And we'll begin to draw the fists down towards the heels while simultaneously lifting onto our shins in a kneeling position. We'll draw the fists down towards the heels, opening up through the chest, gazing up towards the ceiling. Finding our back bend here, maybe tucking the tailbone towards the mat, inviting in one more inhale. And on the exhale, releasing the palms, coming down to the mat into our tabletop position. In our tabletop, our wrists are under our shoulders and our knees are under our hips. Our legs are spread about hip distance apart here. And we'll start to invite in a few cat-cows, inhaling to drop the belly and gaze forward, and then pressing away from the ground, rounding through the spine, allowing the chin to come towards the chest. We'll pair this with our own breath, moving through at our own pace, inhaling to drop the belly and gaze forward, and then exhaling to round through, allowing the chin to come back towards the chest. We'll invite 3 full deep breaths here. And then after that third and final breath, meeting back in a neutral spine, we'll invite in a few threaded needles. We'll keep the left palm planted onto the mat, And we'll inhale, extending the right arm up towards the sky, opening up through the chest. Exhaling to thread our right arm underneath the left and let everything melt down towards the ground. Allowing the cheek to rest. Maybe the left palm stays in front of the face, or it walks out towards the top of the mat. We'll stay here in our threaded needle for a few breaths, continuing to find those deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and out from the mouth. And as we start to settle in here, we have the option to keep our knees under our hips, or we have the option to step the left toes back towards the back of the mat, staying here if we prefer, or engaging through the core and lifting the left leg all the way towards the ceiling, coming into our extended threaded needle. If we found ourselves in our extended posture, we'll let this balancing posture be fun and playful, not taking ourselves too seriously. If we fall or if we lose our balance, we can always try again, allowing this practice to be about releasing judgment or any expectations towards ourselves today. We'll invite in one more full breath here. And if we found our extension on the exhale, we'll slowly and with control lower down through the toes and replace that left knee under the hip. We'll place our left palm back in front of the face. Pressing into the mat, we'll inhale the right arm all the way up, and then exhaling to slowly lower it back down towards the mat. Taking a moment to reset here, and then moving through the other side. Keeping the right palm planted, we'll inhale, peeling open through the left arm. And exhale to thread it under that right shoulder and let everything melt back down towards the mat. Finding ourselves in our threaded needle on the other side, keeping that right palm in front of the face or walking it out towards the top of the mat. If you do plan on finding that extension, sometimes it's easier just to keep the right palm in front of the face. We'll take a few more deep breaths here, allowing the knees to stay under the hips for just another moment. And again, having the option to stay here with both of our knees under our hips, or stepping the right toes back towards the back of the mat and engaging through the core, lifting up through the right leg. Again, if we find our extension, allowing this to be playful, and again, not taking ourselves too seriously here. We'll invite in 2 more deep breaths wherever we are. And on that next exhale, slowly lowering down through the toes and replacing the right knee under the hip. We'll place that right palm in front of the face if we're not already. And pressing into the mat, we'll inhale the left arm all the way back up. And then exhale to, with control, lower it back down towards the mat. Taking another moment to arrive and to reset. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way into our heart-melting posture. We'll keep our knees and our hips where they are, as if we're staying in tabletop, but our palms will start to walk out towards the top of the mat, and we'll start to drop the chest towards the ground. We can allow the forehead to rest on the mat, or we can place the chin on the mat and gaze forward. This can be quite a lot this early in class, so if you try it and you're like, that's not for me, we can always go back down towards the forehead. But I'll always encourage you to explore new postures, to test your edge, and to see what feels good and what doesn't right now. So again, playing around with this for just a moment, and then allowing yourself to settle in. We'll invite in just a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, pressing through the palms, we'll lift up through the chest and make our way back into our tabletop for just a moment. Once we arrive, we'll tuck through the toes, lift through the legs, and send the hips up high and back for our first downward facing dog of practice. We'll invite in some gentle movement here, like maybe coming onto the tippy toes and bending through the knees, and then sending both of the heels back down towards the mat. Or if it feels better, we can pedal it out, doing one leg at a time. Again, just finding any movement that might feel best here. Making sure that we're planning down through all four corners of the palms, and then maybe slightly tucking the chin in again, allowing the head to hang heavy. Finding just another moment of movement. And then returning to stillness. We'll draw our left heel down towards the mat, inhaling to extend up through the right leg. And then on the exhale, bending through the knee, we'll shift our right foot forward all the way towards the top of the mat, coming into our low lunge. We'll release the toes, dropping the back knee. We'll find ourselves in our low lunge here, opening up through the chest. Taking a moment to notice where you feel this and how it feels. Maybe you notice that inner left thigh crease. Inviting in just a few more breaths here. And finding one more inhale to move. And on the exhale, we'll send our hips back for half splits, straightening through that right leg, coming onto the heel of the right foot. We'll find ourselves here in our half splits, reaching the toes up and back towards the shin, finding softness in that knee. We'll take a moment to notice the hips, noticing if they're wanting to go too far over to one side, and then bring them back through the center. We'll invite in a fold over the right leg, inhaling to lift up halfway through the chest, and then exhaling, leading with the heart to fold over. We'll find a few breaths here. Noticing if we can keep that engagement through the feet, keeping softness in the knee. Inviting in just one more full breath. And then on the next inhale, we'll walk back into our low lunge, tucking through the back toes, lifting through the back knee. We'll slide our right foot all the way back to meet and down dog. And once we arrive, we'll take a breath or two here. And then we'll start setting up for the other side. Drawing that right heel towards the mat, we'll inhale the left leg all the way up into our three-legged dog. exhaling to bend through the knee and shift that left foot forward all the way towards the top of the mat. We'll meet in our low lunge again, untucking the back toes, lowering through the back knee. We'll take a moment to notice if this side feels any different, knowing that we're different on both sides, and that's okay. Just noticing. We'll again find a few more breaths on this side. And then when you're ready, on the next exhale, we'll send the hips back for half splits. Straightening now through the left leg, coming onto the heel of the left foot and reaching the toes back. We'll again notice the hips, noticing if they're wanting to go too far over towards the left or right, and allowing them to come back through the center. We'll invite in that fold over the left leg, inhaling to lift up halfway through the chest, and then exhaling to fold over the left leg, keeping softness through the knee. We'll find ourselves here for a couple of more breaths, inviting in those deep cleansing breaths in through our nose, maybe inviting in our pause, and then exhaling from the mouth. On our next inhale, we'll slowly make our way back into our low lunge. We'll again tuck through the back toes, lift through the back knee, and slide the foot back to meet all the way in our downward facing dog. From here, we'll lower through the knees, coming back to our tabletop, and we'll walk the palms forward to come to lie down all the way onto our bellies. We'll place the palms beside of the ribs, untucking through the toes. We'll press into the mat through our hands and through our feet, and lift all the way up into our upward facing dog, gazing forward or slightly up. We'll invite in a full breath here. And then releasing our engagement, we'll make our way all the way back into our tabletop. From here, we'll swing the legs around, coming to seated, allowing the legs to go out long, setting up for our seated forward fold. We'll again find engagement first through the legs, keeping the toes pointed up and back. Finding a nice tall spine, we'll inhale the palms all the way overhead, and then exhaling, leading with the heart to forward fold over the legs. We'll allow the palms to come to a place that feels best for us. Maybe this is right beside of the calves, or maybe they walk out further towards the feet, only if that feels good. We have the option to keep the legs straightened here with soft knees, or we can find a deep bend through the knees, creating more of a belly to thigh connection. We'll again find our half lift, inhaling the chest up, and then exhaling to soften back down. We'll invite in 2 more deep breaths here. And when you're ready, we'll slowly walk the palms back, coming back into our seat, and we'll start to make our way lying all the way back down onto our backs. Once we arrive, we'll draw the knees in towards the chest, finding a nice gentle hug here, or maybe a rocking side to side. And we'll begin to open up through the legs, keeping the knees back towards the shoulders, but opening the legs out wide. We have the option to stay here with our feet dangling, or we can find a full happy baby by bringing the palms through the inside of the legs and reaching the fingers towards the outer edges of our feet, Lifting the soles of the feet towards the ceiling, we find ourselves in our happy baby, either inviting in stillness or that rocking side to side. And again, making this practice your own. We always have the option to allow the feet to dangle, or adjusting this in any way that might feel best. Wherever we are, we'll invite in a few more breaths. And when you're ready, releasing the feet back down towards the mat, we'll start to walk the feet out wide towards the outer edges of our mat and invite in a few gentle windshield wipers, letting the knees fall over to one side, moving through the center, and then allowing them to fall to the other, moving back and forth at your own pace here for a moment. And then coming to a pause in the center when you feel evened out. We'll bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out wide, coming into our reclined butterfly. We have the option to keep the heels back towards the hips here, creating more of a deeper sensation, or we can extend the feet out long. Having the option to keep the palms on the lower belly, out into a T or into cactus arms, with the arms reaching behind us. We'll find a few breaths here, maybe staying for a little bit longer. Allowing our breaths to be slow and full, finding our deep cleansing breaths again. And only when we're ready, we'll bring the knees back to close, extending the legs out long, and setting up for our final resting posture of savasana. We have the option to keep the palms by our side, with the palms faced up, or we can keep the right palm on the lower belly and the left palm on heart center. We'll find a few rounds of a 3-part breath here. If you aren't familiar with our 3-part breath, when we inhale, we'll breathe into the chest first, then into the diaphragm, and then into the belly. And on the exhale, coming out that way, we'll exhale through the belly, through the diaphragm, and then the chest, out from the mouth. Thinking of it almost as a wave going into the belly and a wave going out from the mouth. When you're ready together, we'll find that inhale into the chest, into the diaphragm and belly, and then out from the belly, diaphragm, and then chest. Finding our inhale again, moving through our 3 parts. Exhaling when you're ready. And inviting in 3 more full rounds on your own here. And then after our 3rd and final breath, we'll come back to a natural rhythm, releasing any control that we have over the breath, over the body, allowing the eyes to come to a soft gaze or closed altogether. We'll find ourselves for a few more moments in our shavasana, allowing you to sit in silence, retaining your benefits of your practice and of our breath work. I'll keep the video playing for about another 3 minutes to allow you to rest here. And before coming to a close, I'd like to thank you all for joining me in this practice. It's always an honor. I hope to see you all in the next video.